So that tour business that started off small, and that's my other lesson to people, is what you were talking about before. You're not looking for perfection to start. Just get it done. Just do it. And then you'll work out all the mistakes and where you went wrong later, and you can polish that off.
If you plan, sometimes,
yes.
I said the other day, there's never perfect time to do anything.
Anything, agreed.
It just doesn't exist.
No, just do it.
Spirit House. I almost don't even want to do this interview, just want to go and eat.
Sure.
I've been coming,
Let's do that.
So this is a bad way to start this. I have been coming here probably for at least 13, 14 years, and it's not a restaurant, it's experience. Because a lot of restaurants you go and eat and you walk out, here is a really experience, it's so peaceful. And when my team told me that we're going to actually come here and interview yourself, I was so excited to be here because I know there's a story behind everything here. And I also know how hard it is to actually have any business last for a very long time.
Sure.
So thank you for being part of this interview. And tell us, who do we have here, and tell us what is Spirit House all about?
Sure. Okay. So I'm Acland, Brierty, and my parents and my brother started this, but mum and dad were probably the main drivers while we were doing other things. This is 20-something years ago.
Yes.
So you're talking about a business that's been here 20-something years, which is a long time in business, right?
It doesn't matter what business is to last for 20 years.
Exactly, yeah.
It's
So over the years, my brother and I came back into the business to work with mum and dad, but never in any sort of formal managerial role because and I think this is true for a lot of family businesses, the parents kind of think the kids are idiots.
Yes.
Nicely. Do you know what I mean? I mean it with respect.
I think my mum and dad still think of that.
I mean it with respect, but you know, the parents have grown up seeing all the good and the bad stuff that we've done as kids over the years. So when they passed, my brother and I realized when the will, their intent was to sell the business.
Yes.
They just wanted to sell it because they were in their 70s and their 80s and things like that. But my brother and I, we had a passion for exactly what you were talking about before. The Spirit House was always designed from them, with all my parents' businesses, to be an experience. And that's the only way we know how to make a business and make it successful, is to provide an experience. There's a lot of other people that have skills that can grow a business just using their skill set. But for us was always, it should be an experience. And that formula really has dictated it. So when my brother and I realized, hey, it's 20-something years, this business is still going strong. If we can maintain the experience, then there's no reason for us to sell, which was the intent in the will. The intent in the will was for them to sell. We thought, no, we could get this and we could grow it more by adding to the experience. And so that's what we've done probably in the last 5 years, where my brother and I really took over the reins. And there's some interesting lessons in that as well. For any business that you're thinking of hanging on for a long time, is, okay, what are we talking? What's the future look like? What's the succession? When do you hand over? So these are things that we can explore.
Which is interesting. So you actually spend time working with your family.
Sure.
Interesting thing that I've learned over a couple of months, that in Japan, oldest company in Japan is over 500 years old.
Right.
And Japan has over 50,000 businesses that are over 100 years old.
Right.
50,000 businesses,
which is
huge. Which is crazy. And then I was really intrigued. Why is that? And in Japan, they call 30 years short term.
Wow.
So they're thinking 1, 2, 300 years, generations. And I was really fascinated to actually learn about this. So in Japan, what they want is, when they're running business, they want business to be passed on to the family.
Sure.
They want kids to work in the business because, I remember when, I was 18 years old and, I started working full time, and I got married at age 22, and then you're living your own life, and you don't see parents as much as you would see them if you were working with them.
Right.
So in Japan, which is really, big thing, they want their kids to come back and work in the business, so they see them all the time.
Right.
They spend time, which is interesting. So that's why I was asking, did you work with your family? Because a lot of families, in Japan specifically, this has got nothing to do with Australia, but they get their families to be in the business and then continue for the next generations, the next generation. Almost feel like it's the same thing with Spirit House.
Yes.
Talk of experience. I'm a foodie, and I have tried amazing restaurants around the world. And a lot of restaurants are not as good experience like it is here. You go to a restaurant, and I call it 1.5, 2 hours, so 1 hour and I'm out of there.
Right.
Here, every time I've been here in the past, I don't want to go.
Right.
It's so quiet, it's so peaceful, and I don't want to have reservation from 12 to 2. I want to be here for 3-4 hours because it's so peaceful. You can go for walk here. You got a cooking school. There's just so much to offer that nobody comes here for 1 hour to rush.
Yeah.
And the life that we are all living now, we're all in a rush all the time.
Sure.
So my typical lunch in Brisbane, lunch 12:30, I'm out of there 1:30, I'm in a meeting 2 o'clock, go. So I'm actually not even experiencing the food that I'm eating.
Yeah.
But what you guys have created here is completely different.
Yeah.
And which is interesting. You guys are not in a major city. It's not Brisbane.
Right.
It's not Sydney.
Right.
It's not Melbourne. It's not heart of Noosa. It's not middle of Sunshine Coast. Yeah. You guys are really in your private little place and still have built that big name and maintained it over 20 years.
Right.
How hard is that?
Can we address all of that?
Yeah.
And unpack all that?
Yes, because I'm just
you
so
brought up-
fascinated.
yeah,
I'm
you-
just
you
so
brought up-
fascinated
yeah.
because with me is
You brought up so many interesting points.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to unpack it because I think the business model is really cool, and I think it's as true for any business.
Yes.
Most people, when they get into a business, cafe, hairdresser, construction firm, law firm, accounting firm, bank, whatever, they want to run it the way everyone else runs an accountant, a hairdresser, a butcher, a baker, or whatever it is.
Because there's other butchers, there's other
So they must know what they're doing, right?
Correct.
That must be the right way to do it.
Correct.
The problem for us is, as you said, we're remote. And this is what we realized, that we're a destination.
Yes.
There's no one walking past the front door.
No.
There's no one queuing up to eat here because we're not in a traffic area.
And I will spend 1.5 hours from Brisbane to come here
Right.
and eat
Yeah.
and drive back.
So we need to create it. That's what we realized. We needed to create an environment where you could spend 1.5 to 2 hours to eat and I'm just being honest, and
Yes.
we're going to talk dollars if you're
Yes.
happy with that.
Yes.
And it's
Absolutely.
end of the day, yes, there's lifestyle and happiness, but at the end of the day, it really is money
Of course.
because that's what pays the 52 staff.
Correct.
So it wasn't a challenge, but we realized by creating the experience with the gardens and everything else and good food and good service, but it's a package.
Yes. But everything plays a part.
We were thinking, when you go to a hotel, it's not just a room, right? They give you gardens, they give you the experience, the location and everything else. So what we were always toying with, and this was the difference between you and I was speaking when my parents sort of had the business and when my brother and I took over the business. When my parents had the business, it was all about how do we get more customers in? So we were doing double sittings and things like that. And my attitude was, hey, we're a destination.
Yes.
People will pay more
Yes.
for this. But most restaurants you can come in, you can order an entree. You could have 2 entrees, 1 main and 2 glasses of wine, and you could sit there for 2 hours.
Yes.
We would lose money on that. And my theory in the back of my head was we should be running this more like an airline. It's $1,200 a seat, or a hotel. If you want to sit next to the water, could we charge you more? Is that not the same as having that upgraded room with the better view? So my head was always thinking about all these other businesses, hotels, ships, airplanes, run on a different model to us. So we can incorporate that. And then the best thing that happened, because this was always my theory, was we offer a destination. There's no walk-by traffic. You want to be here for 2 or 3 hours. It's not fair if I kick you out in 2. How can I just lock you in so that I know I'm getting a fixed amount for the food?
Yes.
I'm getting the hotel room.
Yes.
$300 a night.
Yes.
So it was always in my mind to do that, to have a fixed price, but we couldn't do it because we were doing this like every other restaurant, a la carte, you could order. And then a fantastic thing happened. terrible for the country, but it was good for us. COVID hit.
Yes.
And then in COVID, when we opened up again, you couldn't share food, which
Yes.
meant that now we could go back from our shared menu idea where you could just have 2 entrees and a whole fish
Yes.
and spend all day. So now I could have your own entree, you can have your own main, you can have
Yes.
your own dessert, and then we locked it in on a price.
Yes.
And then we kept that model. And that turned what was, and this
And
is
people
no
started
disrespect.
getting used to it anyway.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's really important too, because there were other friends of ours that had restaurants in Brisbane that were also doing that fixed price model.
Yes.
But they changed a little bit now as we're back to normal, because there were many restaurants in Brisbane,
Yes.
and you can eat anywhere. But here
Yes.
we're still this destination, still that
Yes.
experience. Sorry. So my point was, when my brother and I inherited the business, the accountants gave us the figures and said, "Congratulations, there's your profit." And we were both scratching our head and said, "Is that all? All of this turnover and all of this work?" And that was it. And
it's a big place.
right, yeah, right. So yeah, if you want to look, if I'm happy to do numbers, you know, the Spirit House will turn over just the restaurant $5 million a year,
Yes.
which is for a Yantina restaurant. It's
Yes.
amazing. But we thought, is that all that's there? And then this COVID hit, and I said to my brother, if we knew we were getting $105 per person for food,
Yes.
because it's not just the food, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's the gardens, it's the experience, it's the staff, it's the chefs, everything comes at a price.
And you don't go.
This could
You don't
become-
go. You don't go to Hayman Island or Bali or
No.
Mykonos just to sit in a hotel.
Right.
You're paying premium because of the
Totally.
entire experience as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And that's why you guys are different.
Yeah. So it took a lot of guts, and COVID was that. But then we stuck to that pricing model,
Yes.
and now all of a sudden this restaurant became profitable. And that's, I think I should really preface by saying, that's when I said to my brother, we have a business now
Yes.
that is not financially stressful. There's nothing worse than, you know, in your own business,
Yes.
you're sitting there going, how am I going to make payroll next week? You know,
Yeah.
because the margins are so tight. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what turned it around. And that for me was, and for anyone else that has a business, is you look at your pricing and you look at how you're selling your thing, but does it have to be that way?
Yes.
Could it not be more like the way an airline does it, or the
Yes.
way a hotel? And that was our decision, and that made this business viable to the point now that, because wages went up and everything went up, and our chefs don't work 80 hours a week, you
Yes.
know, they have a lifestyle. There are no split shifts, and the only way we can do that for them is to charge the prices that we charge.
Well, but then again, you know.
Sorry, that was rambling. But
No. I actually love it, and 100% makes sense. I mean, look, you can buy a car for $30,000
Right.
and $500,000.
Right.
They're both driving.
exactly.
You know, 4 wheels, they'll get you from A to B.
Totally.
But there's a reason why people pay for more. And if I'm buying a $500,000 car, my expectation is I will pay more.
Yes,
But I also want to have an experience and everything else with it.
exactly.
Same way here, you know, if I'm coming in, if I'm spending whatever dollars I'm spending, it's not just, okay, I'm just eating quickly and I'm running away. I mean, that's why there's a McDonald's and that's why there's a other scale Spirit House.
Sure.
You're getting a different experience and quality of the food.
Can I just quickly on that? If I had a McDonald's restaurant, we would probably make more money net than
Yes.
doing this.
Yes.
You know, so there's nothing wrong with a
There's nothing
hamburger
wrong
place.
with any model.
No, that's
As long as
that's
it's
the point,
working
right?
for
As
you.
long as it works.
As long as it works for you, as long as you see yourself within that model.
Yeah.
And end of the day, I always say that life is short. I'm 44 now, and before I know it, I'm half dead technically if I get to live to 88.
Sure.
So time is just going past. So to me, it's so important that anything I do, yes, you know, we all want to make money and have a better lifestyle, but I still need to enjoy my journey
Right.
while I'm making a dollar.
Totally.
Otherwise, what the hell is the point?
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, Spirit House is still, this is more home for you than your own home.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming you spend more time here. You know.
That was very true until I started to realize I'm becoming the roadblock.
Yes.
If I'm, you've got to ask Acland about that. Or you need to talk to
Yes.
Acland.
Yes.
I'm a roadblock to this moving ahead, just like my mother was.
Ah.
Yeah. And that was interesting. So that was
Interesting you said that. You
yes.
touched on that.
And a friend of ours, that's the GM of all the Ridges hotels, he was said to me, you need to get a manager in place, or you need to start that process, because you're the roadblock for a lot of stuff, and that's what's putting a lot of stress on you. So that was a big lesson for me, was just putting a manager in charge to handle all those day-to-day things that used to bog me down, but one email solves. Do you know what I mean?
I think a lot of us, including myself in the past, I was too attached in my business. And I had a mentality, nobody cares as much as I do.
True.
Nobody knows as much as I know. I'm really I have to be in control of every part of the business.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this, Apple, it's got 100,000 employees, so God knows how many.
Yeah.
And there's no way that Tim Cook knows every single person,
Totally.
what they're doing. Every single person is going to report to him.
Yep.
Otherwise, he would need 2,000 hours a day
Yep.
to actually get anything done. And one thing that I've learned, that only way I can grow my business or move ahead with time, if I actually employ people that are more capable than I am
Yep.
in their own fields within my business.
Yep.
Because you don't have to be best chef to run your restaurant. You can
Yep.
employ somebody who's more capable than you, who's more progressive than you,
Yes.
and let them think on your behalf.
Yes.
And when I learned how to let go and get people that can make decisions, because I'm not the smartest person in the world.
Yep.
You're not the smartest
No.
person in the world.
Yeah.
Nobody is. There are people that are more talented than we are. Could be managing staff, could be whatever position within the business. So when I let go, I started living.
Yeah.
Because before I felt I was heart attack
Interesting.
walking.
Yeah.
I was heart
Me
attack
too.
walking. If somebody
Me
did
too.
this to me, I'm
Me too.
dead.
Yeah.
Heart attack walking because I am thinking about so many things. Now, all of our companies that we have, I have so capable people. And I've learned that from the founders of Google. Which I always found it fascinating when I was running my business. I had to be, the top guy. I had to be, decision maker. And then I looked at that time, Google model. So two founders, let's say there is a scale between lowest position in the business, whatever that is, to CEO. And there would be, 100,000 employees from the bottom to top. There was somewhere not even in half in between. And I was like, oh my God, that's interesting. Why are they not CEOs?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
What they were doing, they felt like we are capable and comfortable here. There are people that are way more capable than us in different positions. End of the day, we own the business. Let them think on our behalf. Let them be more creative.
Yep.
And after 20 odd years, now they're on the top. But they were actually growing into that position instead of I know it all, which is fascinating.
It's so profound for anyone that has a business, what you've just said. So my father was best friends. So you could call him a mentor of this general manager, the Ridges Hotel. And I couldn't understand what he did.
Yes.
So I rang him one day and I said, well, what do you do? What is your job as GM of all of these hotels with all the hotel managers? And he said, simply put, he said, my job is to make sure that all of these managers have whatever it is that they need to do their job. And I thought, because I've grown up from an entrepreneurial side, right? You're the entrepreneur. You're the one that has to make it happen, and you're the guy that's doing the deals and doing all the creative stuff to make stuff work. Whereas now my role is, wow, if I can give the chef everything he needs to do what he needs to do,
he'll be the best.
kitchen's fine.
Correct.
If I can do it with the floor manager, the floor's fine.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? And there was that shift, and then that took a lot off me, that it's not about me. It's simply, what do you need? Oh, I need to buy a new oven. Done.
Which is very interesting. Last week I've interviewed a gentleman called Jim. You heard of Jim's Mowing, Jim's everything. He has 5,000 franchises under his business. It's employs probably well over 100,000 people in Australia alone. And he's in his 70s and he's still full on actively working. It's exactly what he said. Same thing like you. Right. He said, my job is to make sure that all my franchises have all the tools they need for them to function and run their businesses properly.
Yep.
And they'll thrive.
Yep.
Because if I micromanage everything every staff does, where do I see myself in?
It comes as the bottleneck again, right?
Exactly. And end of the day, I always say, today's the day that we never lived before. Once this day is gone, two of us are closer to our ultimate destination, which is being 10 feet under. So I can't afford to waste my time and not have fun, not enjoy it. And if I'm doing everything, what I used to be, heart attack walking. And I feel like if I kept living my life to where I was, I would pass out by now. And so, in any business, lasting for 5 years, these days,
It's
is a
long
big
time.
deal.
Yeah, long time.
10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We all got to be moving ahead with times.
Yeah.
And I feel like our parents, they were living at different times. Maybe times didn't move ahead. Maybe we didn't have enough competition like we have them today. But I think now, in the times that we are living now, we got to be innovating. We got to be changing. We got to be adapting to times that we are living in.
Yep.
And I think that's what yourself and your brother have done over the past 5 years.
Can we look at that?
Yeah.
Because as I said, I've looked at your at the site, and I've looked at some of the entrepreneurs, and I thought it's interesting the trap that we set ourselves, and just what you were describing your businesses, that you had a law firm, you had a construction firm, you had all this other stuff, the real estate, and I was thinking that's smart, and it kind of resonated with me.
Yes.
So when you're in your business, we're a restaurant,
Yes.
we do food, and I'd like to talk about people maybe later, but one thing that occurred to me, the power of the restaurant was the database, was the customers that were coming here. That's where the gold is. So when our first chef, Annette Fear, came, and then after about 2 or 3 years, she was getting tired of cooking in the restaurant. And we were only in business by that time 3 or 4 years. We'd won 3 American Express Awards each year, so we were doing great. And I think this is the power of my parents, because they were entrepreneurs. My dad was a lunatic that came up with these crazy ideas for businesses, but Mum was the rock, was the engine that would be, all right, I'm going to make that happen. I will make it happen. So reined him in. Mum said, well, because this was a nursery, right? We had a little eatery, this was a nursery. And she said, well, we'll take the building there's the cooking school, that was the retail shop, we'll make a cooking school. So she went in there, because we realized you've got customers walking in to eat.
Yes.
Some of them would like to learn how to cook.
Yes.
So rather than
you have to pass
the cooking school to go in, and you put your head in and have a look. But the point was most people in a restaurant think, I'm going to open up another restaurant. I've got a cafe. I'm going to open up another cafe. Cookie cutter. Cut.
Instead of looking what's right in front of them.
What else can I do with my asset, which is the database? So the cooking school, we opened the cooking school. And sure, like any business, it started off slowly, but that's where the cooking school for us is a major profit generator, because there's a chef, a kitchen hand, and 18 people paying to learn how to cook.
And there's a good chance that
the
most
costs
of
are
those 18 people ate here before.
They all did. And so it's like that lost leader, you know what I mean? I don't know, you sell the hamburgers cheap so they can buy the Coke. So it was kind of that approach. And then I realized, and it was something that you were talking about, heart attack walking and stress. And I thought, I was sitting in the cooking school one day with Annette, the chef, and I said, and there were some ladies there, and they were fun. And I said, you know what would be really fun? Would be to take you guys, the 4 or 5 ladies, come to Thailand with us, and we'll take you on a little food tour for 4 days. Just tag along with us. And they said, you're on. You tell us when, where, and we'll make it happen. And that started our tour business. So we took 8 people
you're just
to
saying
Thailand.
that it just clicked in my head. I would like to do that.
Right. So that tour business that started off small, and that's my other lesson to people, is what you were talking about before. You're not looking for perfection to start. Just get it done. Just do it. And then you'll work out all the mistakes and where you went wrong later, and you can polish that off.
If you plan, sometimes, I said the other day, there's never perfect time to do anything.
Agreed.
It just doesn't exist.
No, just do it.
You got to do it. And you'll find your own feet while you're doing it as well. Specifically, if you're passionate and if you mean well and you want to make it, and you'll do well, which is really interesting, talking about a lot of people have one restaurant or coffee shop, let's open the second one, third one, fourth one. So you are doing all that within your own space.
Sure, and it's cookie cutter.
Right here.
But it's the same stress, right? It's the same stress,
Correct.
Staffing issues, all the other issues that cafe is now with that. But tours, that's fun, right?
It is fun.
Fun.
Going back to the start of this conversation, experience.
Yes.
So entire place here is you're creating experience from having lunch to, which is experience on its own, to your cooking school. It's experience. You're there with 18 people, you're creating, you might come with your partner, friends, full experience. Again, flying everybody to anywhere that you guys take them. Again, talk of experience.
Right, but can I just jump on that experience? If I may, is that all
And
right?
I'm excited about
Yeah,
that
I'm excited
experience.
too. So one of my ideas was, if we're going to take, it was 8 people to Thailand, I could use that money to take some chefs. We don't need to make money on this, right? It's just, let's just have some fun in Thailand. There was no, yes, I'd lived in Thailand. That's how this came about. I spoke Thai, so it was easy for me. So this started and it worked quite well. So we were doing 2 to 4 tours a year, 8 people at $300 a day. And then I get this random email from a company in India saying, we see you do tours to Thailand around food. Would you be interested in India?
Right.
So I'm going to cut. It took a little while to get right. And I'd ignored this email for months. And I emailed them back and I said, yeah, we would, but I don't want to do Taj Mahal, Delhi, Jaipur. I want food. I want experiences. Because for us, it's what happens in between going from Delhi to Agra that's just as important as getting to Agra and seeing the Taj.
Absolutely.
So I want this stuff. I want shopping, but I don't want carpet. So anyhow, they came back and said, yeah, we can do this. And they said, but it's 10 days. And I'm thinking, no one's going to go for 10 days on a trip. We just do 4. But I put it out there, sold out in 24 hours, 2 trips, boom. So there's India, 10 days, $6,000 or whatever it was. And I'm thinking, that's a lot of money. And then I realized I can expand the Thai tour. And then I'm cutting a long story short, where else can we go that's Asia? Because our restaurant's Asian, Myanmar, and then Indonesia, and we do this boat. So and I'm happy to do the numbers. What started as like a 15 or 20 grand a year kind of lost thing because we would take our chefs became a $700,000 to $800,000 business. And that's not me working it hard. And that's me going on the trips. That's the staff. We take floor staff on these trips as rewards.
And it's experience for them as well. Because how many places like this take their chefs in a different places?
None do. And they all could. But here's the most important thing, Emil. It's fun. And isn't that what this should all be about?
I'm already thinking.
But shouldn't it be about that? Fun, not only for me, but for my staff, something to look forward to, fun for the customers. So all of our tours now, they're not designed for our customers.
Yes.
At all. All I'm looking at with my guys here, we've got 3 cooking school chefs that do it with me. All we're doing is, what would be fun to do in India?
Yes.
Let's make a trip with that. It's for us. And if that resonates with you, you'll come too. And the Spirit House is a little bit like that.
Yes.
We could get a room in Noosa and pay $120,000 rent, maybe $300,000.
Yes.
But that's not fun. This is fun. Gardens, water dragons, ponds. Yeah.
And I also think that there's a different kind of experiences in life. I feel like coming here, or your cooking school, or different tours, everything is to me feels peaceful for my soul.
Yes.
You can go to New York. I love going to New York.
Right.
I walk out of New York stressed.
Yes.
Not in a bad way. New York, you just go. I feel like every single person that is walking, they're walking with a purpose.
Yeah.
You just go, go, go. If you shop, you're out of there, eat 1 hour. Everything is just fast.
Yes.
Here, you're just in a different state of mind.
Yeah.
And starting from eating, starting from your cooking school, and even the experience that you're talking about 4 days or 10 days.
Yes.
It's fun.
It should be.
Food.
It should be.
So you have created something that I don't know if there's many places in Australia or anywhere that actually have this experience, which is interesting yourself as a business owner, because end of the day, it is fun.
Yeah.
You also employ 52 staff.
Right.
They all you're responsible for 52 humans.
Yeah.
A lot of them have husbands, wives, kids, boyfriends, bills. Mm-hmm. So regardless what circumstances are happening in the world, they all need to eat.
It's a responsibility that my brother and I really feel because of exactly what you said. And that's why the financial management and the leverage of the database, like the tours, the cooking school, all that does is bring income in. And the great thing about having those things is it cushions a little bit. So if the restaurant's not as busy, the cooking school, do you know what I mean? So we've got multiple pillars under the business that really do support. And it's cliche, a family of 52, that's a little bit too cliche, but there's 52 people here with families and wives and girlfriends that depend on this business being successful, and that's a big weight to hold on anyone's shoulders.
especially, I always say that any business, easiest to do is to give up.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
running any business,
Yeah.
nobody can tell me they have a business with no problems.
Oh,
It
totally.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So a lot of people will start a restaurant and times will be hard for
Yep.
whatever reason.
Yep.
I always say, whatever happens is our fault.
Yep.
Because we are decision makers in a journey. But a lot of people will feel it's a little bit too hard. Okay, let's just close it down.
Yep.
But with yourself, your brother, and your mom and dad in the past,
Sure.
for 20 years, people need to be looked after.
Sure.
as
Can I
well.
can I jump on that, because that's really important? I don't know if you're aware, but maybe 3 or 4 years ago we had a break-in event here. Yeah, so
Right.
a guy broke in and basically destroyed the kitchen and the restaurant. So
Right.
yeah, so we were shut down, and we were shut down for 9 or 10 months. We were lucky that we had insurance in place. But
Yeah.
the point was,
Sorry to hear that.
No, that's fine. We're back up and running. We had a great insurance company. But the point was, at one stage, the insurance company said, if you want, you could take the money and run. So you could give up.
Yes.
All these problems go away, right? You still keep the land and the buildings, but here's your payout and you're done. And it's exactly what you said. And I looked at my brother and I said, that's a pretty good offer. But as he said, how does that benefit your chefs and on the floor? So it's what you said. It would have been easy to give up and we could have walked away with cash.
Yes.
But no, we bit the bullet and we rebuilt the restaurant, and we were shut for 9 months, and we had business interruption insurance, which was great. So all the staff got paid, but we also took our own money and poured it back to renovate, because these buildings are 20 years old.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you're right. Giving up is one thing, but I also, and I think you'd appreciate with this as well, because I've got friends that have been in business at some stage with some businesses, you do have to put the bullet in it and get rid of it and give up if it's
Absolutely.
taxing you financially and emotionally and personally, and your marriage is on the rocks because of this. At some stage, you got to say no, this, and you got to give up. You got to put a line in the sand. I think that's really important.
I agree there as well, because some businesses, if people hit the wall, there's no light on the end of the tunnel.
No.
I mean, look, talk of Blockbuster, Video Easy, so it doesn't matter how much they can go.
Yes.
That we are living in a different digital world.
Yes.
That business is a dying business.
Yes.
You either try to walk away on the time, or you're going to be dead completely one day. So end of the day, it comes down to what also industries we are in as well, and also what do we want out of life. Now, talk of fun place.
Okay.
And I can see that you're passionate about this place.
Yeah.
How important is passion in general in anything that we do, from your perspective?
I'll tell you where it's so easy, and you see it everywhere. It's so easy to build a mediocre business, and you see it everywhere. Butcher shops, bakeries, accountants, clothes stores. It's so easy because the passion's not there. But when you get a passionate owner that's passionate about butchery, that shop becomes amazing, and people will beat a path to it. So I think it's important. You owe it to yourself to be passionate about what it is you do. Otherwise, your business will become mediocre. And if I can jump back a little bit in time, when I was in my mid-40s, and Mum's running the show, she was in 65, 70.
Yeah.
She's not looking at the Spirit House the same way as I was at 45. She's 65, she's 70. She's been doing it for a while. Her passion for this business isn't like what it was when she was in her 50s when she started. So she and my dad were looking at, how do we get rid of it? How do we offload it? How do we make it saleable? So I think passion is important. So when she passed, it was amazing because my brother and I had all these ideas. We had passion for the business. Yes. And that was something I was chatting with with Kizzy about before, was if you have a business and you're going to have it for 25 or 30 years, at some stage, because I'm 57 now.
Yes. You don't look like 57. Let's just make that very clear.
But when
must be the food here, clearly.
Right, exactly, yeah, and the water. But when do I start to say, well, hang on, you're starting to approach this business and look at it the way a 60-year-old would, and my niece, who's quite keen on the business, is 24 or 25. She's looking at it through a different lens than a 60-year-old man is, and I think that's something that we need to, it's certainly something that we're aware of. It's something that, okay, maybe my ideas and my passions are a bit older,
but
and
I think
it's time to hand over.
I think you're very progressive
Have to
business
be.
owner.
Have to be,
Because
yeah.
end of the day, if we feel like, okay, maybe I don't have same energy like I did 20 years ago
Sure.
or 10 years ago, or maybe I'm not as creative, but I still love the business.
Sure.
So why not bring somebody in that's good at energy,
Yep.
that's good at drive,
Yep.
that wants to take it to another level,
Yep.
and that's okay.
Yep.
You know, because end of the day, I think we want different things as we get older.
Yes.
So somebody asked me, Emil, what's your goal now?
Yes.
If you asked me 5 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and 10 years ago, and 15 years ago, and 20 years ago, my goals are changing.
Totally.
I enjoy different things.
Uh-huh.
I see things from different pairs of eyes, and we all do. And that energy, there's a good friend of mine, Peter, who's a very, very great human and extremely successful, and 75 years old. And he said, Emil, in any business, in anything that we do, specifically in business, you got to keep that energy in business when you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, that's okay. Business needs to have the same energy because people want to be part of that experience.
Yeah.
People want to be part of the fun place.
Yes.
And which is really crucial. I'm actually so excited now. When I walked in here, first thing Kizzy, that's behind his camera, said, we need to have a Christmas party here.
Nice.
And I had offices in Brisbane. But because of that experience, people are happy to go that extra mile. And so yes, we will definitely come back here.
Can we talk about success?
100%. That's the go. What is success
Yeah.
to you?
Yeah. Because obviously we could do more spirit houses. I could open one in Bali. I could
Yes.
open one in Thailand. But I think it's something that...
Which I think would go extremely well anywhere you do.
Sure, it'd be a lot easier.
Yes.
But it's something that Gerber had said years ago. He was out in Australia with Results Corporation. Michael Gerber wrote the E-Myth. And he said, at the end of the day, your business really should be designed to give you more life, not take life away from you.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for me, and I had a friend that was a speaker once, and he was on the national speaking circuit, and he was up there and Tony Robbins was talking about whatever Tony was, and someone was talking about whatever, the $600 million that they had done. And he was thinking, I haven't done anything like that.
Yes.
But I've got a nice house in Caloundra. I've sent 3 kids to boarding school.
Yes.
I'm still with my wife. I go fishing on weekends. Is that not success? And my business provides all of that. Is that not a successful business? And I thought, that's really profound. It's not always about the dollars. My brother and I could do more, we could, but that wouldn't necessarily, it's a matter, because a lot of people are looking at this thinking, how do I grow my business? Or how do I start a successful business? A successful business just could be the business that doesn't give you a heap of stress because you've got the right management in, that you can spend time with the kids on the weekend, right? And go fishing and do all that. It doesn't have to be, I'm doing $5 million, I need to do 15.
You couldn't say it any better way. And that's why I ask, what's success to you?
Yeah.
Because we all want different things. Some
Yep.
people want to have, more responsibilities because it makes them happy.
Yep.
End of the day, people ask me what it is that you're chasing. And I am big sucker for chasing happiness every day.
Yes. And I'm exactly the same.
And whatever my happiness is, like
Yes.
to me, I start my day, when I wake up in the morning, oh my God, I'm so grateful.
Yes.
I'm breathing.
Yes.
I'm healthy.
Uh-huh.
I'm already trillionaire.
Yes.
I got my health.
Totally.
I can breathe. I can walk, get breakfast. I can cook or whatever. So that to me is successful.
Yep.
But to me, success is I need to be happy every day.
Yes.
Whatever that is, there's so many people that unfortunately, a lot of young generations, they're chasing money.
Yes.
And they said to me, Emil, I can't wait, I promise you one day, I'm going to have a Ferrari like yours or Lamborghini or whatever. I said, oh no, hold on.
Yeah.
Between today,
Yeah.
and it might take you 10, 20, 30, 40 years to have a Ferrari if that's what you want, if that's your happiness. Let me just remind you, what's really happiness is creating the journey between 0 and whatever the hell you want to go.
Exactly like the tours. What happens between A and the Taj Mahal? What happens in between?
Which is interesting. I was listening to interview with one DJ that is not coming to my head, his name, and he said, what's interesting in today's world, when he's a famous DJ, when he's DJing, there's I don't know, 20,000 people.
Yep.
And 20,000 people are more focused on having their camera, Instagramming it, so they can send it to their friends instead of put the phone down, enjoy experience.
Right.
Be in a moment.
Yeah.
Instead of, because I know if I have my phone there, I'm zooming and I'm not enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
So other times changing, and that's one thing that I keep telling the young people: learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
Full chest.
Yeah.
Do things that make you happy, because I can tell you, if I had somebody else's business, even if it's making $100 million a day, if I don't see myself in it, I'm going to be unhappy.
Totally.
So what is that 100 million going to do to me?
Nothing.
If I'm an unhappy person, I am happy individual. Everything else that I do it because I'm passionate about it. So success, there's a story that I was told very long time ago by my uncle. So I don't know if it's true or not, but the uncles, he's an old gentleman now, and when uncles and aunties and moms, when they tell you the stories, there's probably some truth in it. There was a gentleman, and this gentleman, his friends wanted to come and see him one day. 10 of his friends. He just got married. So he just got married, and his friends wanted to come and see him, and they wanted to tell him, how can you live with such an ugly wife? How can you live with such an ugly wife? So they was like, it's unbelievable, you're a good looking person, and how can you be with... So anyway, they went to his place, and they all sit down, and all 10 of them said to him, how can you live? And you know what he said to them?
What?
Guys, if you had my eyes, she would be the most beautiful person to you as well.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah.
We all different things out of life.
Yeah.
So with me, I see everything through his eyes.
Yeah.
What makes me happy today?
Yeah.
I mean, look, in the end of the day, there's 24 hours in a day, and I'm such a believer in one life that it doesn't matter how much we live, 80 years, 100 or 5,000 like dinosaurs, there will come an end to this.
Yes.
And there's no let's try again.
That's right. You only get so many laps around the sun.
And you know what? Whatever we do today, the clock doesn't stop. It just keeps going. So to me, my success is find stuff that brings me joy. And if I'm enjoying business, if I enjoy creating things, I'll keep going. That's what makes me happy. If it makes me happy to... Right now, somebody asked me, Emil, how much are you going to grow your businesses from real estate and property development? I said, I don't know. I grow them as I feel fit, that makes me happy
Exactly
today.
that.
Because I can go and chase 1,000 offices.
Of course.
I can go and chase 10 real estate offices. I just took my 10 principals, great guys. We went to Croatia for 2 weeks.
Nice.
I'm talking to everybody. I can have a lunch. I'm not avoiding them. They're not avoiding me. They're my mates. Really become part of actually family. As much, like you said before, my son cliche, it is the truth. So I'm just happy. So do I want more? Do I need more? Am I going to be happy by doing more?
Yeah, totally.
So you are as successful as happy you are.
This business is the most successful business that I've ever seen for me, because it suits my life. I enjoy coming to work, which is great. The day I don't enjoy coming to work, that's the day we talk about selling. Are we able to talk? I don't know if we've got time.
We got time. And this is actually, to be honest, I really find this story interesting, and I enjoy talking to you.
Thank
so
you. No, it's been fascinating both ways. I wanted to talk about people, because something that occurred to me, and I watched some of the videos that you had on the site, and the word that we often use is I did this, I did that. And I was thinking about what made my parents, they started a restaurant in Montville in 72, and there was nothing in Montville. It was just a little town with 500 people. And so you got a husband and wife, but I think I mentioned it before, Dad was the ideas guy, just crazy ideas.
But they need to be executed.
But Mum was the executioner of these ideas. They'd never had a restaurant before. They'd never cooked in a restaurant, but Dad decided we're going to open a restaurant in a town with 500 people. But Mum was, okay, well, we're going to need to cook. We're going to need the recipes. That partnership was so vital. And I was thinking about, and it's for other people there, and maybe they've got their small business and it's not firing. it's not all necessarily because you're doing something wrong. A lot of the most successful businesses in the world are successful simply because two people or a group of people came together that had these complementary skills or could support each other. And I'm thinking, like Walt Disney.
Yes.
Disneyland would never have taken off if it wasn't for Roy Disney, his brother, because Roy was the guy that got the money.
Yeah.
Walt had these crazy ideas, but it was Roy that was, don't worry about it, I'll find the money. Yeah. Steve Jobs and Wozniak, it's the same thing. And I'm thinking, getting your business might be where it is simply because you haven't met the person that can come along with the money. Maybe it's the person that bankrolls you, or it's the person that introduces you to such and such.
But we got to be open-minded
Totally.
to let that person in.
Absolutely.
If you are so protective,
Absolutely.
if you feel like I know it all,
Yep.
I don't want to let go. I mean, a lot
Yep.
of people, they own 100% of their business.
Yep.
It's my business.
Yes.
It's my passion.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
Without realizing, yes, if you lose 20% or 50, whatever the number is of your business,
Yes.
maybe you're going to have more fun, more success,
Yes.
or maybe you can grow more,
Yes.
because we all have limit what we are capable of.
Totally.
If you put me as a chef in your restaurant,
Yes.
I don't think you're going to have the same guests coming.
No.
Or maybe not have any because I'm not as good as yours.
Yep.
So end of the day, is allowing yourself to bring somebody in
Yes.
who is more capable.
Yes.
And again,
or having the right person in your life.
correct.
Where the synergy's there and they can support you with it, be it a partner,
Correct.
spouse, or whatever. And one of the things, because when we opened the Spirit House, and I think this is really important, none of these businesses that my parents started were designed with customers in mind. They just did it because it sounded like it would be fun for them to have. And it was just lucky that they do it in a way that is the experience. But I remember when the restaurant was being built and we had the nursery, and a lady walked in and she said to me, "What are you doing over there?" And I said, "We're building a little restaurant." And she said, "What sort of food?" And I said, "It's Asian food." And she goes, "I'm passionate about Asian food. I'm a chef. I work at Noosa." And it was Annette Fear. And it was Annette Fear
Yes.
and her vision of Asian food at the time, because we're going back 20 something years ago,
Yes.
and it wasn't Thai food, it was Asian, it was a twist.
Yes.
But having her and meeting her and her coming on board was a huge part of the success, because that's what got us our American Express Awards. And as you said, if the wrong chef had come in, then we're probably still doing morning tea, a lunch and an afternoon tea. And I think in any business, and I'm sure you would agree with this, it's easy when it's successful and you're patting yourself on the back saying, what a great job I've done managing the people and managing the money. But luck has such a huge part of the business. It's meeting that person just when the chips are down, and then someone comes along and there's $100,000 and that gets you through, or having the chef that comes through.
I agree.
There's so much luck, and it's what you were saying before. You have to be open to opportunity, and you have to be open to these ideas and not be...
And then luck comes.
Yes, and you have to make your own luck.
You have to make your own luck. I mean, if two of us are not going to do anything,
Totally.
there's so much luck we can create.
Absolutely.
But when you are opening yourself to opportunities, when you are working with people, you are attracting also more people that can give you a hand if you need one. 2020, COVID. Do you think that we all have learned how to run our businesses better because of what we went through?
I would say yes, and I would say two things, and it comes back to what we were talking about earlier. I think if you had a very average or mediocre business, COVID found you out, and you're not here anymore. Maybe. I'm probably being harsh because
I think
you may have run out of money and other things may have happened. But if you had a business that had something unique about it, that had an experience, then you're probably still here. And there were a lot of restaurants that did go broke. A lot of cafes went broke. A lot of coffee shops went broke.
A lot of businesses in general.
Totally, in various industries. But I think the ones that offered that uniqueness or offered that something more managed to come through it. And that's a huge generalization, because I realize there's a lot of other factors,
of course,
as well. But yeah, I think COVID made us realize that if you've got a business, and the ones that pivoted very quickly, because we did, we went through meals, and it's what you said. Perfection is the perfection is the enemy of creativity. was let's just get something out there. It's 80% right. Let's just get it out there.
Yes.
We'll polish the rest later, and that's what we did. We pivoted very quickly through COVID.
You can never be perfect
No.
with anything that we do.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting and a good message for anybody that wants to start business today.
Yeah.
Anybody that is watching this interview, and there's a lot of next generation. I mean, two of us on the other side of the business now, but one thing that I always say, anybody that wants to start any kind of business, the reality is between today and next 30 years or 20 years, the good news is you're going to be in control whatever you're creating.
Absolutely.
Everything is in your hands.
Yeah.
The bad news is it's not going to be easy.
No.
It can be fun, and you're still going to have roadblocks.
Yes.
How do you navigate? And COVID was one of the most dangerous ones because we didn't know what the hell we're facing.
Yes.
Recession is fine.
Yeah.
We had recessions in 2008 and 90 or 89 or whatever it is. So that has been done 10 times over the last 100 years.
Yes.
But in a business, there will also be unexpected situations that you have to be, one, mentally prepared to deal with it, to be creative.
Yes.
How do you come out of it on the other side? Because going back to responsibility, you're responsible to this entire place and everybody in it.
Yeah.
Ship needs to keep moving.
Absolutely. It's a big ship.
And it's a big ship. Talk of quality food.
Okay.
And that is quality of running any business. And in your business, is experience is one, service is another.
Yeah.
You can have a best experience, terrible food, I'm not going to come back.
Sure.
So everything, and that really is a lesson for any business owner, whatever they're doing. It's not just, you know what, I got a good service. Bad product, you're not going to last.
No,
You
totally.
can only sell something to somebody once, maybe twice. You're not going to keep selling them 3-4 times. How do you manage? How do you manage? Not just, this is not just a food question.
No, this is powerful.
How do you manage every aspect? Because we have spoken about experience. I love coming here. I feel like I actually don't want to go here today. Can I stay here tonight? Because it's so peaceful, it's calming. Food is amazing to keep me here even longer.
Yeah, great.
How do you manage every aspect? Because for you to say, I have a successful business.
There's so many layers to that question. The first thing...
And so many layers are important to make it successful.
The first thing is this. First thing for us, stick to your guns and have confidence in what you do. So if we listen to all the complaints we get about our food, your food's too spicy.
Yes.
But then I get just as many complaints saying your food's not spicy enough.
Yes.
So where's reality? I don't know, the gardens are terrible. The gardens are the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
So for every positive, we get a negative. And that soon made us realize we're just going to ignore everything. We don't respond to any reviews.
Yes.
Let's just do what we want to do.
Sticking to your guns.
Let's stick to our guns. This is our head chef. This is our food. If you don't like it, and I don't mean this disrespectfully or arrogantly, I don't. If we're too expensive, or you don't like the food, or you don't like the fact that we're not authentically Thai, that we're fusion, there's hundreds of other restaurants to eat at.
And we all have a different taste.
We all have different tastes.
Love pasta, some Japanese. So we all have a different taste, and there's a market for everybody.
If we become everything to everybody, Spirit House no longer becomes special, I think.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm standing behind.
Well, I come here for your food as well.
Right.
Experience is there, but I also know what I'm getting. If I'm getting everything else, what's the point of coming here?
And I think when you've got, like our chef, Tom Hitchcock, he's Australian Chef of the Year, which is a huge accolade. But for me, he gets to tell me, I say, well, why have we got this fermented, pickled, dried powder or whatever on the plate? And he basically says, I'm Chef of the Year. And it's a valid point. I've got to respect his skills.
Correct.
But this is what we've found. Those that understand and appreciate technique will see it on the plate. Those that are just looking for, like they're used to, the local Thai restaurant, they don't see it. So it's a combination of technique and I think MasterChef has got a lot to answer for restaurants because it's raised people's expectations of what food should look like, even though they can't smell it or taste it, but they know what it looks like. but you can see technique, and it's a showcase of all of that. I'm still coming back to what you were initially saying, but it really was, this is us, this is Spirit House, this is our brand, this is what we're sticking to, this is our interpretation of the food, and that's what makes us special. But for us, but here's the thing, we see 80 people. I only need 80 people to get that. Yes. And I think any business should be the same. If you're trying to please everyone,
you please no one.
You'll please
100%.
no one. Yeah.
And same thing is,
So please yourself. And if you've got it right,
yes,
people will beat a path to your door. And if you've got it wrong, then your business will be marginal, but at the end of the day, it's like what you're saying. If you find that there's no one coming to the door, and this is one of the most, if I may, sorry, and I'm
please,
because I'm a member of a lot of business groups related to hospitality, in Facebook and stuff like that, where they voice, I'm not getting any customers and everything like that. And there have been a couple there, and they're saying, I've lowered my cost of sales, and I've reduced my wages, and I've pinned my suppliers down, and we're still not, doing great. Yes. And I need to do more marketing. And everyone's saying, more Facebook ads, more Instagram. And it's like, I've been to your restaurant, and your food's crap. Yeah. If you just fix that,
people come back.
We'll come back. And Domino's went through that here in Australia back in the 80s. Their business was marginal, and the CEO of Domino's was brave enough to actually eat.
I interviewed him as well.
Sorry, I'm sure it was Domino's, but they basically tasted their pizza and they realized we could do better.
Correct.
And they changed the recipe and the formula for pizza, and it grew from there. And it may not be Domino's, and I apologize.
No, it is. I had a conversation. Okay. Yes.
And I just thought, that's the most gutsy. It's like you own a group of hotels, sleep in your hotel. What's it like?
I cannot tell you.
So maybe your product.
I can't tell you how good water is unless I taste it myself,
right.
Or anything. There was my uncle asked my grandma. Yeah. He cooked fish, and he said, "Grandma," he said, "Mom, try this fish." Right. And she said, "I don't like this fish. I don't like fish." Right. He said, "Come on, Grandma, try some fish." I don't like fish. And then he asked her, "Mom, did you ever try fish?" She said, "No." So what you just said, you try it. Yeah. So, if you don't try it, if it's bad, how do you know? So going to my grandma, she never tried fish and she's already judging it. Or a lot of restaurants could be serving food that they never tried it themselves. Yeah. How far can you push them?
Totally.
Specifically in the restaurants, you are being judged based on the last meal that people have.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, our human behavior today, you can be going somewhere for 5 years or 10 years, and you have 1 or 2 meals that are bad in a row, you lost a client.
Yes.
So I've been coming here for a very long time, again and again and again. And to me, it's destination because I don't live here. I live 1.5 hours. So I'm coming here for experience, but also know I'm getting service and I'm getting food. So point I was making, in any successful business, everything matters.
Sure. So on that, and it was something because you alluded to earlier before, and we were talking about experiences, and I think pricing is something that obviously affects a lot of, how much can I sell my sandwich for or whatever it was. And one of the, we don't always get it right here with the food, but we own up to it and we try to fix it where we can. And when people go to TripAdvisor and write a bad review, it's too late then. We can't fix that. Yes. But one of the complaints we get, especially with this new menu, is we're expensive.
Yes.
But here's the question, and anyone who has a business should be saying, we're expensive compared to what? Because there's nowhere else like this, and it's like BMW or Ferrari, you're expensive. Well, compared to what? Compared to a Cortina or a Hyundai?
It is expensive.
But compared to what? And I think that's something, doesn't matter what your business is, when you price it, if you're backing that up with an experience, and it could be the fit out of the shop or the way you do your business from the phones.
But your audience. You know your audience.
Totally.
You are targeting people that will appreciate your experience.
Absolutely.
And that will also see in value in your pricing.
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, you can buy a handbag for $20 and there's a handbag from Hermes Birkin that's $30,000, $40,000. Yeah. And you can't even get it.
No.
Rolex.
Yes.
you can't go and buy a Rolex. So
Yes.
forget about the pricing.
Yes.
You can't even get it. You're going to put your name on the list,
Yep.
wait for 4 or 5 years or 2 years before maybe you get one.
Yeah.
So there's a market for everything.
Yes.
But end of the day, I always say, in anything that I do, nothing is too expensive if
Sure.
I'm getting value out of it.
Totally.
So to me and also we all have to have different expectations. I can't go to McDonald's, no offense to McDonald's,
Sure.
and expect to have meal that I will be having at Spirit House.
No.
So I'm going to McDonald's, I know I'm going to get a burger, chips, Coke,
Yeah.
$15.
And it delivers $15 a day.
Delivers $15
Yep.
of value.
Totally.
That's it.
Yep.
You know, so expectations for me is that's what I'm getting for. So with you have created a unique place
Yeah.
that people, if they want to come here, if they want to experience, end of the day, you have one of the best chefs in the world
Yeah.
right in your restaurant.
Yeah.
And if he was working in McDonald's, he'd be getting a lot less money.
Yes.
We all get what we get paid, what we pay for as well. You
Yes.
know, in any business as well. I'm going to ask you some personal questions.
Go
I
for
hope you don't mind.
No, go for it.
What does never give up mean to you personally?
But that's the thing. My personality is to run away. I'm a quitter.
Yes.
Yeah, my brother's different. You know, my
Yes.
brother's the martial artist. You know, he likes the fight. He likes
Yes.
the challenge. Yeah, and I'm the quitter. So mine's not about never giving up. I would pull the pin.
Yes.
You know, if I thought that the world was falling apart. So I guess for me,
Yes.
never give up for me is doing everything within the business so you
Yes.
don't have to face that. That's me. Do you know what I mean? Does
So
that
you're
make
being
sense?
proactive.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're always
I don't want the fight. I want to put everything in place so that we don't ever have to have the fight.
correct.
If you know what I mean.
Which
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah.
There's one.
Because I would give up.
No,
Yeah.
but saying that, I love you. I love exactly what you said.
Yeah.
There is one entrepreneur in America. I'm not going to name him, and so he used to employ a team of people.
Right.
They would work on solutions for potential problems they're going
That
to
they
have
don't
in the
even
future.
have. Yeah.
They don't even have them.
Yeah.
What if this happened?
Yeah.
They put solutions in place.
Yeah.
So before
That's
even
me.
gets to that never give up,
Yeah.
its possibility will be resolved before it gets there.
Yes.
So I think that you're never giving up is you're just strategist.
Yes.
You know, you're strategizing.
Yes.
How can we even not get to that position
Yes.
of, oh my God, I'm not going to breathe today. I need to run a little bit more. So you are always putting things in place so it doesn't come to that point.
Yes.
Love that.
And Kizzy, I was asking Kizzy some questions before you had arrived, and I think this is really important. And I think people need to be more inquisitive
Yes.
about other businesses, not just the
Yes.
industry they're in. So I was asking Kizzy about this because the cooking school is me putting off, is never giving up. So that if something happened to the restaurant, the cooking school brings in income. The tours is another, it's pillars underneath your business,
Yes.
holding the business. That's me. So I will
Love
build
that.
things. So one of the
Love
things that we're interested in, we know we could do online cooking classes.
Yes.
We can make it a subscription model.
Yes.
We have a database of 30 or 40,000 people.
Yes.
If 1,000 people were paying me $200 a year to get
Yes.
access to this huge online database
Yes,
of
yes.
videos, that's 200 grand. That's me not giving up.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
I don't want to
yes.
get to the stage of like when we had the break-in.
I love it, which is so
Yeah.
interesting how you
Yeah. So I'm
put it out there.
proactive rather than defensive.
Well, you are proactive in interesting way you answered it. And I think makes me think now as well, because most of us, we hit the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not give up then. But
Yeah.
quite often,
Yeah.
when we hit that wall, it's too late.
Yes.
It's too late.
Yes.
You know, if something happened to the restaurant,
Yes.
it happened.
Yeah.
You know, tours are still there.
They're there, bringing in an income.
Cooking school
Bringing in an
is
income.
still there.
Yeah.
Instead of, okay, how do we never give up?
Yeah.
Problem is here.
Yes. Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
So-
Because when we had the break-in, that was such an unexpected event. Never saw that coming. That someone would break in and destroy the building to such a stage that we couldn't operate. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? And and I think I said to you, when the insurance company came in, they said, hey guys, we can pay you out and we walk away. But my brother and I knew the call was strong. And I think what had happened was, can we talk Facebook and Instagram?
Oh, no, please.
I think what had happened was we don't market at all.
Yes.
And
Other people did it for you.
Right. By creating the gardens and everything and the
Yes.
statues and the temples and the pagodas and all the other stuff, people are in here doing their own Instagramming and their own Facebook.
They're doing everything on your
and
behalf.
that's promoting the restaurant on our behalf.
And that's called marketing. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
very interesting. I'm going to grab my phone to show you something.
Yeah. Sorry, while you grab that, if I can talk to the folks out there.
Yes, please do.
So my point was, up until then, we'd ignored Facebook and we were never proactive about it. But when we announced that we'd had the break-in and put the photos up, the response we got, it was something like 20,000 people. It was beyond of, oh, so sorry to hear. We didn't realise
Yes.
that we were liked as much, you know,
Yes.
and appreciated as much. And
But sometimes
that was powerful.
Sometimes
And that's and that was part of the reason why we knew we got the support out there. And I said to my brother, there's people out there that love this place. Let's just keep going. Sorry, that was
the reason why I grabbed my phone is exactly to talk about that.
Okay.
But before I even walked into your restaurant,
Yeah.
I took a video.
Oh,
And I took a video, and with me, I was like, I gotta post this on social media.
sure.
I have 500,000 followers as an individual. And with me, before I even walked, I was like, I find this fascinating. And I'm gonna show you the video, and then we're gonna put it on the camera later.
Oh,
Before
my brother's peacock.
Before I even walked into a restaurant, before I even walked, and the next thing is, you will see what I have done. There's a peacock there, and then guess where I
Oh
saw
my
it.
God! Yeah.
So this is before I even,
Yeah.
and straight away, because when I was walking, it was 4 minutes past 11, and I knew I was 4 minutes late. But if I wasn't 4 minutes late, which I will do it later, oh my God, this is so good for social media, cooking school, I'm passing it, because I know with the restaurant is, and you know, with the water it's so amazing. Is that experience? I'm doing your marketing.
Totally.
I'm doing your dollars,
Yeah.
spending on social media, you're not spending anything. And I just needed to show you this, which we'll put on the camera as well, that powerful tools that we have today, it's unbelievable as well, which is straight away before I even walked in.
It's funny you should mention that, because that's my brother's peacock, and he has a white one because he lives just across the creek there. And I said to him, well, your stupid peacocks are going to come over into the restaurant, right? That's going to be super annoying. And he said, it's not going to be super annoying. It's going to be super amazing. People are going to love it.
And I did.
Yeah,
straight away, I was like, oh my God. And then I actually called somebody from my office as well. I said, I'm just about to walk into the restaurant. Guess what I just saw? There's like peacock here. I said, no way. I said, yes. I sent them the video. He said, oh my God, look at it.
Yeah.
So again, that entire experience, that if I had lunch in most restaurants around the world, do you think I'm going to see a peacock?
No. And it comes back to how we started this very conversation, was by not just selling your product, be it makeup or accounting or whatever, but by providing an experience around that. People will do your marketing for you. Your brand becomes more resistant to the ups and downs of economy or whatever it might be. And it really is about creating experience. And it was just something, if I can, it's a little bit of a side.
Please.
I was in Thailand on a tour, and I was walking past a bank branch, and they had recreated this bank office, this bank branch, like an 1800s ye oldie Texan, you know, with the thing, with the bars down there and the fit out, and it looked like something out of the 1800s. And I thought, well, how cool would it be to work in a space like that? It was all wood paneled in the bars. You know, but it's a bank branch. It belongs to a bank. One of the most boring institutions on the planet is a bank, and here's this branch that's embracing, hey, let's provide our customers this experience, you know. And I just thought, if a bank can do it, anyone can do it.
Isn't life all about experiences?
Exactly. Yeah.
What does one life mean to you?
Yeah, it is absolutely. It's funny. Simon, the chef, and I were chatting the other day, because we're in our 50s and the kids are growing up and everything like that. And we were both saying, because of all the tours that we've been doing, and they're so diverse, and we said, if we got hit by a bus tomorrow, it would have been a great life because of all of these experiences. The Spirit House has provided us with these trips, you know, for us, you know. And I think you're right. It's all about you are the sum of the experiences you've had.
And I think a lot of people are afraid to experience.
Yes.
And I think if you want to start something, you know, people are chasing that perfect time, and before perfect time comes, it's too late.
Yes.
I was in an Uber a couple of days ago, and I dropped my car for service and anyway, I called Uber. And Uber, I always talk to people. I love talking to a lot of people because we all have a story. We all have a story.
Yep.
So many interesting stories, right? And I asked gentleman, and I said to him, hey, how long have you been driving Uber? He said, last 6 years.
Right.
I said, great. Were you driving taxi before? Because, a lot of people are driving taxis and they went to Uber. I said, no, I was in a different industry. I was boiler maker.
Okay.
I said, that's interesting, go from that industry to this. He said, I had no choice. I said, that's interesting. Why? He said, I had a cancer, collapsed lung. Anyway, today I'm healthy. Tomorrow I'm seeing these specialist doctors and they're telling me I've got 30 days to live. 30 days to live. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all living not knowing the day when we're going to die. And, but so it was that devastating for him. Age 60 happened. Sorry, I take it back. Age 65. Age 65, lung collapsed, 30 days to live, nothing he can do. And he started planning his funeral. It's 30 days,
sure, 30
of
days.
course, what are you going to do? And then he said, Emil, he said, then mate, he said, I wanted to explore more if there's anything else I can do to live longer. So he found, to cut the story short, he found another surgeon, and he's alive today because he had 2 lungs and he can function with 1 lung.
Sure.
And he said, one thing that he has done that happened 6 years ago, he has done more things in 6 years than he has done in 65 before.
Yeah.
So he's 71 now.
Yeah.
So for last 6 years, he's done more things because he saw the end.
Yes.
That's it, gone. Yes. Oh my God, let me do more now.
Yeah.
Let me love more. Let me breathe more. Let me do more. Let me travel more.
Yeah.
So, that one life and creating those experiences and anybody, I always say to all the young individuals or anybody, doesn't matter what age they are, you want to do something, do it.
Yes.
Because there's never perfect timing.
No.
It's never going to be okay.
No.
One thing that we talk about, there's no such a thing as 100% perfect.
No.
It doesn't exist. As long as we do the best we can, things will be okay.
Can I, I'm going to go back 50 years. I'm in primary school.
Which is interesting. So hold your thought. I can remember stuff when I was 7 years old as well.
There you go.
But if you ask me what I had for breakfast yesterday, I would think for a second. Sorry, continue.
No, you're right. I'm 7 years old. My father had a hugely successful job. He was the head cattle buyer in Echuca of Borthwick's. Big paying job, had the company car. Mum was the librarian of the Echuca primary school or whatever it was. And they realized that they were dreadfully unhappy. And Dad had all these dreams and ideas and it wasn't happening. And they decided that they were going to go to their jobs the next day and quit because it was like the Romans burning the boats on the shore. If they kept going, they could see their lives being the same. In 50 years' time, he would still be a cattle buyer for Borthwick's. So they went in, he quit, she went in and quit because they realized now we have to do something with our life. And I said, well, what happened after that? And they said, we cried. Just cried because what have we done? We've made this huge decision. We've burnt the boats, and it was about safety. Like you were talking about before, it was safe having these corporate jobs. So they quit, and that's what started their entrepreneurial road. Through the various businesses. Would they have been more successful financially if they'd stayed in their jobs? Probably, maybe. But it wasn't about that for them. It was, you got this guy that's so creative that wanted to do this thing.
And this all goes back to what's success to you.
And what's success to you.
To them, that success was, you know what? We want to chase our own happiness instead of being controlled by somebody else's.
And what was interesting, I've got a friend of mine who's a lawyer, or was a lawyer, and he was dreadfully unhappy in law. And I said, well, why don't you quit? And he said, well, because I've invested, 6 years in law school, and everything like that. And I said, so a decision that you made when you were 17 or 18 years old and you invested 6 years of your life in law school,
and you've got 10. That's 17 years old, you're going to think differently when you're 30.
Yeah, and I said, you're basing this, I said, quit, you can always be a lawyer again.
Yes.
And he did, and he ended up being a science fiction writer in Bulgaria. He married a Bulgarian woman, but just as happy, maybe nowhere near as successful, but just as happy. It was just
successful to him.
Yeah, and a different life and much more exciting than I can't say much more exciting because you're comparing lives, and that's hard.
But it's
the
exciting
point
to
is,
somebody else.
much more interesting life for
Yes.
him than if he had stayed
Yes.
in law and
Yes.
each year just taking his holiday to wherever.
I
There you
think
go.
fear is stopping a lot of humans
Yeah.
to really go to that next level with their life. I have a great friend, and we went to high school together.
Yep.
And he was a person that we all looked up to, full of energy.
Yep.
You know, if anything, we all thought he's gonna be next Bill Gates. So, talk of fear. When we all met lovely ladies, and most of us got married quite early. And by age 22, 21, he finished his university and he got a job. And that job paid him whatever money he did first year, and next year was a little bit more. Third year was a little bit more. Then he ended up having 2 kids, 3 kids. And bills,
Yep.
he ended up being in this little race that, okay, I can't start anything now because, I've got 3 little kids. I got a house to pay off. Wife didn't work, and I just started getting paid, maybe 5-10% every year more. He's 44 today.
Right.
At age 44, Emil, I can't start something now because I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I said to him, no.
Yeah.
If there's something you really want to do, quit today.
Absolutely.
But Emil, I'm earning now $300,000 a year. I said, I will stop you at one. I will just finish this conversation by one thing. Are you happy?
Right.
If you're extremely happy, don't start any business, don't start anything. Keep doing what you're doing because you're extremely successful. If you're really happy. He said, Emil, I'm not happy. I really wanted to do this. Quit today.
Yes.
And you think he quit?
No.
That is unfortunately something that it's never too late to do anything because you know what's too late? When we are facing our ultimate destination, if that ever comes that we have one day to reflect on our life, I wish I have done this.
Yes.
There's no wishing then.
No.
It's over.
This was exactly what happened to my mum. So she got a cancer diagnosis, and what was she? 70 something, but very active.
Which is young.
Yeah, very active,
Yeah.
70, very involved in the business and everything. And she was like, I really want to take all the family, the grandkids, and I want to go to Italy and, and just have some family thing, because that's what the business has provided, right, after all these years, because we've never had a family. It was like, great, Helen, this is fantastic. And then it was sort of December, we've picked up this thing. And then March, she was gone. But the point was so you've run for 50 years, all of these businesses to do this, to live a life, but you kind of, left it all too late.
Yes.
I know that's probably a little bit different to your
Yes.
thing, but you need to do it kind of while you can. And and like my lawyer friend, it's the same thing. If he quit and did whatever he did and it didn't work out, we'll go back to law.
You can go, and
so you lose a couple of years of income.
or
Or
lose 20, 30 years ahead of you.
of something that you enjoy.
Which is interesting. And that's the beautiful thing about life.
Yeah.
We are all in control
Yeah.
of everything that we do. That's why I always say, if we all can truly understand meaning of one life, we all going to do things differently.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of us realize that, hey, you too, let me get it straight in your heads. There's only one life. There's no rehearsal.
Yeah.
So do things that make you happy and measure your success, what your happiness is.
Yeah. And if I can preface it that, but I don't know about you, but occasionally I'll drive down the road and I'll see some business that's gone broke.
Yes.
And it really depresses me, but like I'm not saying that
Because they've been fighting.
It guts me, because I know that that's possibly a husband and wife that put their house on the line to get the money, to fit out the shop, to do whatever they did, and their kids are at school, and it failed. Do you know what I mean? And there are such big risks when you do all of this. And it comes back to when I was talking to Kizzy about all of this interview, when we chat, the better the experience that you can make it, the more you can differentiate whatever it is that you're about to start or embark on, so that it stands out from the rest, the bigger chance of success that you give yourself and that business. But if it's just going to be another Me Too business, I'm going to open a fish and chip shop, but I'm going to do the same thing as every other fish and chip shop, you are better off staying in your job or wherever you are secure until you get that crystal clear vision of this is why my thing is different. And it comes back to, and I've forgotten the name of the guy that came up with the power of why, you know, when
Yes.
yeah, you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
The why you're doing this
Yes.
is more important than the how, the what, the when, and the money. It's got to be a powerful why. And for us, the why we wanted is we wanted people to have this experience of a little piece of Asia on the Sunshine Coast. That's why we're doing it. And if that resonates with 80 people for lunch and 80 people for dinner, if it resonates for enough of people like that to pay $105, then we have a business.
Interesting idea, an interesting thing that just came to my mind while you were saying that. Earlier in this conversation, you know, you were saying that, you know, you had choice to open another spirit house in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Bali. You can open it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I think from a business point of view, the experience you have created here, this is maybe even better.
Yes.
Because you have created such a unique experience that I get so excited to drive 1.5 hours or get in a helicopter from Byron Bay if people want to come anywhere to come here. That also makes it special because you're attracting people that really, really want this experience.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, right? People want experiences. Just give them the experience.
I really enjoy this.
Oh, look, it's been a blast.
And I'm going to enjoy watching this, and I can't wait. And it's been a pleasure meeting you. I will also end up using yourself as a contact. So every time I want to come here in the future, if they tell me a restaurant is booked, I got a friend here. He can get me in. I don't care.
No, Emile,
a pleasure.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No,
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a blast.
Thank you.